Aho, buju in denoi magnetok. Anin, kage gabo in dishnakas. Mekanak and dudem, mekanak wajuing and dunjiba. Beishoga kabakang and dan ungum. Apajigo mi wage bizendawyeg. And what I said there was a traditional Ojibwe protocol greeting. I said hello, all of my relatives. My name is Kage Gabo. I'm Turtle Clan. I'm a descendant of Turtle Mountain. I live close to Minneapolis today. And I wanted to thank all of you for tuning in and listening to this live Ojibwe Word of the Day. Again, this is something I look forward to doing on Thursday nights. And if you take a few moments out of your day to talk about, to discuss, to listen to Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Chippewa language, culture, history, spirituality, philosophy, ethics, linguistics, I'm incredibly grateful for that. So I always love beginning by saying, thank you for listening. And tonight's word of the day, it's another phrase of the day. And I was inspired to talk about this after a conversation with my wife about social media and things that were showing up on her timeline and on mine or on our newsfeed. And it made me think of this teaching, of this prayer, this preventing gossip prayer. And it is Gego, dazhimaaken, awiya. And I learned that from a former colleague of mine, also a teacher of mine, Dennis Jones, in his very excellent book, Daga Anishinaabe Moda. And in there is this preventing gossip prayer. And it's literally put, Gego dazhimaaken awiya. And that literally means, don't speak about people. And the more I began thinking about that phrase, I thought, well, that's good. That is literally preventing gossip. If you are speaking about someone, to say, don't talk about people. Don't talk about, or Gego dazhimaaken gijinishinaabe. Don't speak about your fellow human being. And as I was thinking about that prayer, dazhim is to speak about someone. Gego is don't. And then awiya is someone, and gijinishinaabe be another way of saying that, your fellow human being. But as I was thinking about that, I thought, well, there are definite modern contexts for that. But something popped up in my head, and it was from something I read 17 years ago. And it was from the oldest Ojibwe text that's been published. It was published in 1642. And in it, there is a fellow who is using the word to pray. And it made me think about this prayer. And it made me think about the sanctity of the language or of language. So in this, to pray for someone, he literally used the word that we would use today as a ganush, to speak about someone, to address someone. So to pray for someone was to actually talk about them. And I thought that was incredibly profound because I had sought out for years, how do you say I will pray for someone in the language? It had happened once while I was at a language conference. I was having a cigarette outside. This is many, many years ago. And I had blown my tobacco smoke up. And this Mindamuye, this old lady who has since passed, asked me where I was sending my tobacco to. And I said, Ishpraming. And she said, that's very good. And she said, in Ojibwe, don't forget to speak about mukwe wadamukwe. Don't forget to speak about me, to say something good on my behalf. And she was kind of sharing with me there to address the spirit, the mystery, and address the spirit on her behalf. And it struck me that that's very powerful. It struck me that our words can be prayers, that our words can be very powerful. Our words can affect people, and that can go in either a positive or a negative way. And if we look at the traditional meaning of that then, to pray for someone, it's to speak about them. And so this thing about not gossiping, it's really, if you can't speak about someone, using zagit doing, love, deboywan, truth, guakwatazwan, virtue, righteousness, and honesty, dabasendazwan, speaking about them from a place of humility where you're thinking lowly of yourself. If there's no manajituan, respect for this person. If you're not able to speak about them with a strong heart, with zungideewan, with intelligence, with wisdom, with nabwakawan, you should really, I think, look at what am I actually saying about this person? And it made me think then, well, this is something that had come up in conversation with this elder, was that for her, the language was sacred. And I'd like to go into this for a moment because it's very, to me, that was very powerful. And my interpretation of that has changed over the years. When I studied linguistics, we can scientifically prove now that human beings are hardwired to speak. We're hardwired to use language. And even if we can't speak, we'll find other ways to use language. So, whereas I don't hold any language more sacred than others, I wonder if I was misunderstanding what these old folks were telling me, that language itself is sacred, that our ability to use this gift from Keje Manadu, from the Spirit, is sacred. And maybe that vehicle, if it's Anishinaabe Moan, if it's Sanskrit, if it's Latin, communicating with one another, that can be a sacred act. And using the gift that we were given can be sacred. And I think for so many people, that just seems commonplace and everyday. Well, yeah, we all talk, we all use language. But if you think about it, even these most elemental things in our life, speech. How about breath or air? Having breath be sacred. No one's breath is more sacred than another. And we're really seeing that with the fires that are taking place, with people who are losing their quality of air that they're accustomed to. So even something as commonplace and everyday and necessary as breathing becomes sacred. The water, the nibi, can become sacred. Without it, we'll certainly perish. And it's something that we all must have. So in this case, using language, I think we need to use it and remember that our words can have power. That even that act of communicating with one another, that can be a sacred act. And that in even a modern context, even if we're not using words, what we're sharing with other people. And I think this is something where human beings, and especially in 2020, we are still learning how to use our technology responsibly. We're still learning how to use all of these tools and this interconnection in a world where we are more interconnected than digitally than we have ever been before in our history, that we have a responsibility and we acknowledge that, even the words that I'm sharing with other people, that those too can have power. And that if I am sharing these, I don't want to share lies about people. I don't want to share propaganda about people. I don't want to share things that may have been manufactured by someone else to be shared and create division and sow division amongst people. That I want to be really responsible and acknowledge my words and my communication as something sacred. So I think that's really important, and it's something to keep in mind that we can most likely hurt people, but this is a time if we are acting with those 7 grandfather teachings, that we can really bring a feeling of peace, of minoayawan, minomanji owen, of healing, of minwaindamoan, of joy, and minosewan, walking along the path of life in a good way, bringing good fortune to others with our words. So that's all I'm going to say this evening. Thank you again so much for listening. And again, if you know someone who is interested in the language, the culture, the history, the spirituality, the linguistics, the ethics, please feel free to like and share this video. Please, all of you, do take care. And the spirits will decide when we see each other again.